chance either. Well, the Smiths were unable to conceive kids, so they decided to use a surrogate father to start the family. And on the day that proxy father was coming, you can take that literally. Mr. Smith kissed his wife goodbye and said, "I'm off now. The man should be here soon." And a half hour later, just by chance, a door-to-door baby photographer happened to ring the doorbell, hoping to make a sale. "Good morning, ma'am. I've come to..." And she goes, "Oh, need to explain? No need to explain. I've been expecting you." "Well, have you really?" said the photographer. "Well, that's good. Did you know that babies are my specialty?" "Oh, that's what my husband and I had hoped. Please come in and have a seat." And after a moment, she goes, "Well, where do we start?" And he goes, "Leave everything to me. I usually try 2 in the bathtub, 1 on the couch, and perhaps a couple in the bed. Sometimes the living room floor is fun. You can really spread out there." Bathtub? Living room floor? Well, no wonder it didn't work out for her and me. "Well, ma'am, none of us can guarantee a good one every time, but if we try several different positions, and I shoot from 7 or 8 angles, I'm sure you'll be pleased with the results." "My, that's a lot," she gasps. "Well, ma'am, in my line of work, a man has to take his time. I'd love to be in and out in 5 minutes, but I'm sure you'd be disappointed with..." "Don't you know what?" says Mrs. Smith quietly. The photographer opens his briefcase and pulls out a baby pictures. "This one," he says, "was done on top of a bus." "Oh my God," Mrs. Smith says, grasping her throat. "Yes, and these twins, they turned out exceptionally well when you consider her mother was so difficult to work with." "She was difficult?" asked Mrs. Smith. "Oh, I'm afraid so," he says. "I finally had to take her to the park to get the job done right. All around 4 and 5 deep to get a good look at us." 4 and 5 deep? Her eyes were wide with amazement. "Yes," the photographer says. "And for more than 3 hours, too. The mother was constantly squealing and yelling. I could hardly concentrate. And when the darkness approached, I had to rush my shots. Finally, when the squirrels started nibbling my equipment, I just had to pack it all in." "Oh my God," Mrs. Smith says. "Do you mean they actually chewed on your equipment?" "It's true, ma'am." "Yeah, well, if you're ready, I'll set up my tripod so we can get to work right away." "Tripod? Oh, yes, ma'am. I've got to use a tripod to rest my cannon on. It's much too heavy to be held in the hand for very long." With that, Mrs. Smith fainted. Historical evidence has been found that William Mattel and his family were bowlers, known as lawn bowling back in his time. However, all the league records were unfortunately lost to antiquity. Thus, we'll never know for whom the Tells bowled. A bunch of teenagers wrote some similes, metaphors, and analogies, and these are some of the worst things I've ever read. They're hilarious. Teenagers writing similes, metaphors, and analogies. She grew on him like she was a colony of E. coli, and he was a room temperature Canadian beef.
Oh my God.
Separated by cruel fate, the star-crossed lovers raced across the grassy field toward each other like 2 freight trains, one having left Cleveland at 6:36 p.m., traveling at 55 miles an hour, the other from Topeka at 4:19 p.m. at the speed of 35 miles per hour. Figure that one out, boys and girls. Ask teacher. The politician was gone but unnoticed, kind of like the period after the doctor on a Dr. Pepper can. Gotta love kids. He was deeply in love. She spoke. He thought he heard bells, as if she was a garbage truck backing up.
My first when she walked back where she started beeping.
The sunset displayed rich, spectacular hues, like a JPEG file at 10% cyan, 10% magenta, 60% yellow, and 10% 10% black. It was gorgeous. little boat gently drifted across the pond exactly the way a bowling ball wouldn't. Oh, I can't even see because I got tears in my eyes. He was as lame as a duck. Not the metaphorical lame duck either, but a real duck that was actually lame. Maybe from stepping on a lit vine or something. And the last simile, metaphor, or analogy. Oh, so sorry, I can't see. He spoke with a wisdom that can only come from experience. Like a guy who went blind because he looked at a solar eclipse without one of those boxes with a pinhole in it. And now goes around the country speaking at high schools about the dangers of looking at a solar eclipse without one of those boxes with a little... Oh my God.
That reminds me of Alan Funt's Candid Camera. Remember that when he had the kids section?
God. Alright, I don't know how many minutes I've already used, but shall I go on? A man was driving along a rural road one day. He saw a three-legged chicken running down the road. He was so amused, so he drives along by it, and as he's driving, he sees the chickens running 30 miles an hour. Pretty freaking fast chicken, he thought. How fast he could run, so he sped up and the chicken did as well, right along with him. Now they're moving along at going 45 miles an hour. When the man in the car sped up again, and so surprised, the chicken still running ahead of him. He's still like 60 miles an hour. And so suddenly the chicken turns off the road and runs down a long driveway leading to the farmhouse. So the man follows his chicken to the house and sees a man in the yard with a whole bunch of three-legged chickens. And the man like, how'd you get all them three-legged chickens? And the farmer says, I breed them. You see, it's me, my wife, and my son living here, and we all like to eat that chicken leg. Since chicken got two legs, I started breeding this three-legged variety so we could all eat our favorite piece. Oh my God, that's amazing, says the driver. How do they taste? Farmer says, I don't rightly know. I ain't caught one of them yet.
I don't know.
How many minutes am I out of time? You tell me if I am.
Nope, you're running fine.
Okay, fine. Alright, so Mama's brothers left college and they were successful doctors, lawyers, and everything. They all prospered. And some years later, they chatted after dinner together and they discussed what gifts they were able to give their elderly mom who lived far away in another city. Milton, the first brother, says, I had a big house built for Mama. And Marvin, the second, says, I had $100,000 theater built in that house. And Michael, the third son, said, well, I had my Mercedes dealer deliver a $6 billion Mercedes to her. And Elvin, the fourth, said, well, you know how Mama loved reading the Bible? No, she can't read anymore because she can't see too good. So I met this preacher, told me about a parrot that could recite the entire Bible. So it took me 20 preachers and 12 years to teach this parrot. And I pledged to contribute $100,000 a year for 20 years to this church, but it was well worth it. Mama just has to name the chapter and verse, and the parrot can recite it. And the other brothers were all impressed. And after the holidays, the mom sent all her... And the first one she wrote, Milton, the house she built so huge. I live in... But thanks, Ed. Marvin, I'm too old to travel. I stay home. I got my groceries delivered, so I never use that Mercedes, but the thought was really nice. Thanks. Michael, you gave me an expensive theater with Dolby sound. All my friends are dead. I lost my hearing and I'm nearly blind. I never use it. But thanks for the gesture just the same. And she wrote, dearest Melvin, you're the only son I got that's got good sense to give a little thought to your gift. That chicken was delicious. Thanks a bunch. You know, life's all about perspective. Like, the sinking of the Titanic was a miracle for all the lobsters in the ship's kitchen.
Ah, yeah.
Because all the people had a bad time. Cats, do you know, I have cats. I love cats. They spend 2/3 of their life sleeping and the other third making viral videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, it's about time.